I'm very pleased to introduce next another dear friend of the Center for Security Policy, and I think of all of us in this room, this terrace, who have a shared commitment to freedom. He is Congressman Louie Gohmert. He has been a member of Congress now for 5 terms. Hailing from Texas, he has had a distinguished public service career, including rising to the rank of captain in the United States Army, as a judge in Texas, as a chief justice of the 12th Appellate Court in Texas, now, of course, as a member of Congress and vice chairman of the House Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, and Homeland Security of the Judiciary Committee in the House of Representatives. He has graciously agreed to introduce our second keeper of the flame, and I can't think of anybody better to do it. Congressman Louie Gohmert, welcome, sir, and thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's such a treat for me to be here, and of course, if I'm asked to introduce Michele Bachmann, I mean, what an honor. What an honor. I appreciate it also so much, my dear friend Frank Wolf's comments and Chairman Rogers. My late mother was an English teacher, taught 8th grade English, and she loved Rudyard Kipling and his poems, but I memorized a different ending as I understood it. The poem, If, the line was, if you can keep your head while all those about you are losing theirs, then you're probably the reason they're losing theirs. Anyway, now, speaking of someone that causes people to lose their heads, our leadership regularly loses their heads. They have not been sure how to deal with Michele Bachmann. It's what I love about her. When you have someone that makes promises in that person's district and then comes to Washington and repeatedly stands up and said, these are the promises we made, these are the promises we must keep. Wow, what an idea. You know, and that's Michele Bachmann. Now, I've known Michele since 2006 when she got elected to come up here. I didn't know her when she was a state senator from Minnesota. I didn't know her when she was getting her bachelor's and her Juris Doctorate. I didn't know her. In fact, I don't know that there's anybody else in Congress, including all of those who serve on Ways and Means that make tax law, who actually has a master's in tax law, and in this case, hers is from William and Mary. So it would have been nice if we could have had her on Ways and Means. Can you imagine someone with the highest education on tax law actually getting to participate in the making of tax law? What a concept. Maybe someday. But anyway, she and her husband Marcus have 5 children. They've raised 23 foster children, and she has helped start charter school for at-risk kids in Minnesota. You know, there's so many people in Washington that can talk a good game, but if you look at Michele and Marcus's lives, they have lived out, you know, exactly who they are, what they are, and what they say. They not only talk the talk, she has walked the walk her entire life. When people used to pick juries, I used to try civil cases in federal court, state court. Then, as Frank said, I was a judge. One of the questions that a lawyer would ask when he finds out someone on the potential jury may know somebody participating in the trial, they would say, has this person ever been in your home? Because if the person had ever been in your home, that took it to a whole new level of friendship. And I am proud to say that if somebody were asking me that question in view of being on a jury about Michele Bachmann, I would be able to say my wife Kathy and I have had Michele Bachmann in our home. We are very close. We've traveled to Israel together. And my late mother used to say, when I was thinking about, I was getting serious with Kathy 36 years ago, she said, son, you got to travel with her. You got to travel with her family before you ever think about getting married, because that's where you really find out about people. You travel with them. I've traveled with Michele. She is the true gold. She's the true gold standard in any situation that you might find her. She knows what heartache is. She knows courage. She has strength. She has conviction. She has moral authority. And I could not be prouder to say she's my friend. We have been together in a hot, sweaty room, not necessarily what you might think. This was a room in which FBI agents brought massive notebooks, massive amount of documents that I don't know if you'd heard about this, they had purged these documents. Isn't that amazing? They had purged them out of the FBI training materials, and they kept saying, well, you know, we can make them available. And Michele led the charge and said, okay, make them available. They classified the documents they had purged so that we couldn't talk about them outside of the place where we examined them. And they thought maybe if they brought them into this little bitty room that was very hot, that we would not be willing to stay and go through documents. Guess what? The agents sweat more than we did as we went through those documents. And, you know, I could see how there would be things that might offend a radical Islamist, you know? But if you actually set out what a radical Islamist believes, and people find out what they actually believe, wow, maybe that would offend them. But this is serious stuff. Now, Michele went one beyond me. I was very dedicated to the task. She came back and went through more documents that had been purged also. And nobody went further than me. She and I exceeded Lynn Westmoreland, who went through some, and then she exceeded me by coming back on another day and going through other documents. This is the kind of commitment. You don't see it on television. You don't hear it on radio. And you sure don't hear it on MSNBC. They don't know the kind of dedication that goes along with Michele Bachmann's superior intellect. Well, I've been a judge. I got paid for my opinion. And in this former court's opinion, there's not a better member of Congress that's ever been. And I'm proud to introduce to you Michele Bachmann.